I called my parents and I was just crying. My dad said that almost gave me a heart attack. My dad's very dramatic with Nigerians abroad. I don't know how this is going to come off saying this. Don't give me the side eye. Just hear me out. I had to remove myself from all that mess because it was just ghetto. Absolutely not. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for this year, I want to see if I can do a series, like a quasi series where I will be talking about my experiences as an immigrant and also like just letting people who are migrating to America know what to expect. I'm still thinking of a name to call the series, but for now I'm going to call it Coming to America, okay? So I want to be a little bit vulnerable in this video and just share what my experience has been since I came here in 2023. Sometimes I'm kind of torn between, okay, should I make this an informative video or should I just come and just say what's on my mind? So anyhow it goes, you guys should just take it like that, okay? So I want to talk about how much I have changed, how much things have changed, how homesick I've been, how I handle homesickness, and just a plethora of other different things that have been in my mind lately and doesn't really have anything to do with all the fitness videos I've been pushing out for the past 2 months. Okay. All right. So before we get into it, please give this video a thumbs up. Please also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. So if you are new here, I know I have a couple of new subscribers. That's amazing. Thank you guys for subscribing. Welcome to the family. If you're new here and you don't know, I moved to America as an international student in August 2023 because I'm getting my master's, and it's just been like one hell of a ride since then. Overall, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put it on an 8 for how much I've really settled in and how much I like it here. Of course I still get homesick, and it's kind of like a challenge finding your feet and just thinking of what to do next. I'm not going to get too much into that, but yeah, when I first came, I kind of knew what to expect. The only thing that really threw me off was the whole no public transportation. I didn't think too deeply about it, but a few months down the line, I got a car because I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. I need something to move myself around. So that's that. I had come other times in 2019 and 22 just to visit. So I've actually always liked this country. Not gonna lie to you, I know that they're going through a slew of political issues and quotes issues right now, and I try not to like talk about American politics at all. Besides all of that, it's been pretty good to me. The people here are very friendly. I think Americans are actually very friendly. It's like it's a culture thing, and it's not necessarily about what race of people you're talking to. Like if you meet an African American on the road, they're quite friendly. If you meet a white person, they're quite friendly. Asians are friendly as well. So it's just an American thing to be friendly to your neighbors and just like make small talk with the people who sorry, I just remember something. Make small talk with people you see around you, like maybe at the gas station, in an elevator, or just walking past them on the streets, or maybe if you get into an Uber, it's just a thing for them to want to make conversation with you. And they're very curious to know where you're from, especially when you talk and they hear that your accent is different. So they'd be very interested and be like, okay, hey, where are you from? And whatnot. So that's been the experience that I've had so far. I've also met some really cool Nigerians here. Like I remember summer of 24. This is my friend, her name is Ifnaya. She's more known as Cassie, but she really helped me. She introduced me to a whole other group of Nigerians, and I've really just been rocking with them and whatnot. My best friend is also here, so it kind of just makes sense for me to, settle down in this country because it's the closest thing I have to home. And my uncle is also here. My parents come here sometimes, so it just makes sense for me to settle down here. So I've been having a good time. Obviously, there are ups and downs, but in which country will you go to that there are no ups and downs? You know what I mean? Adjusting to the environment has also been easy. Adjusting to the cold, I've been trying. It's not been easy because I tell you, I live in the Midwest, right? I live in Missouri, and it gets really cold here. For the most part, we don't really get natural disasters. The most I've gotten, or the most I've seen since I came here, was a hailstorm and a tornado. And the tornadoes are usually not that like deadly, or maybe we get a snowstorm or something like that. But we get a lot of sun in this area, so even if we get snow, the snow melts out quickly. So that's that. In terms of how should I say, communication. This one I really want to touch on it because I I remember I made this video about culture shock and the things to expect if you're coming here, and that video did numbers on Twitter, and it was like a whole conversation about it. So I talked about how you have to not adjust your accent when you come here, because you just have to learn how to speak well, and you'll be fine. I still stand on that for the most part. And maybe that's just because I feel that you can train yourself to the point where you speak properly, but you don't necessarily change your accent. And a lot of people have conflicting opinions about that, and that's fine. It's not like I'm not willing to die on that hill. I just think it's a bit weird to always switch your accent when you're talking to someone else, because like they're not switching their accents for you. Even when they move to your own country, they're not switching their accents to sound like you. So I look at it like it comes from a place of inferiority complex to always do that. However, I recognize that when you live in a place for a while, the way people speak starts to rub on you, especially when you constantly hear them talk and talk all the time. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I have noticed this. Even my friends, when I'm talking to them, they've noticed that I do it too. So my inflections are a little bit different. For the most part, I still sound Nigerian. Like if a Nigerian hears me, they know that this one is from Nigeria. But you can still hear, like when I say some things, if I'm asking a question, maybe the inflection of what I'm saying goes a little bit up or stuff like that. So that has kind of low-key seeped into me. I used to think, nah, it's not gonna seep into me. I'm not gonna do that. Even the way I'm saying gonna, usually I would say going to, but it's just I hear them talk so much that it's just in my head now. But for the most part, I don't actively, like I'm not like actively trying to change the way I speak, because I know that I speak very clearly and people can hear me. Speaking of how I speak, right? I think one of the downsides of being here in general, and I'm just saying this from the perspective of an immigrant, right? Okay, let me not say it's an American thing, but it's my experience here in America. It could be the same thing in other countries in the West or even in the East. They are very like, I don't know if it's that they pretend or act like they don't understand what you're saying, because you can't lie to me and say that you don't understand what I am saying. And this is not coming from a place of pride, because I know I speak very well, okay? I know that nobody needs to tell me. So when I say certain things and you pretend like you can't hear me, it's a little bit disrespectful, because you just know when someone is pretending. Do you understand? And it's not, I don't want to go too deep into it, but that kind of irritates me just a little bit. But I try not to take offense too much into it. I might give them the benefit of the doubt, but for the most part, it feels like they know exactly what they're doing. So I want to talk about being homesick and homesickness. For the most part, I'm a very independent person, right? I didn't think that I would experience this level of homesickness. I remember this is January, sometime around this time last year in 2024, I called my parents and I was just crying. I was just, as in, I was sobbing. My dad said that I almost gave me a heart attack. My dad's very dramatic. I was missing Nigeria. This was just like maybe 5 months into my stay here. I hadn't even been here for that long, and I was seriously crying because I just missed home. I just missed going out and just hearing Nigerians talk, or I just missed going out and being in the warm air, because around December, January, February, and March it's still relatively cold in some parts of the states. So the winter period causes some kind of seasonal depression, because first of all, you don't have a lot of sun, because the sun sets earlier than usual. So when you get less sun, you have less vitamin D, and also affects your mood. So that's that. And the cold is, I just don't like it. I can't wait to move to a warm state, like an Arizona or like a Texas. I can't wait to move somewhere down below, like down south, so that, I mean, Arizona is not down south, but I can't wait to move somewhere that's warm, where I don't have to experience snow and all that. But the seasonal depression really just gets to me sometimes. And that's why I developed a love for Nigerian movies, because my dad was the one that told me that, hey, since you are feeling so homesick and everything, you can just be watching Nigerian movies or something. So I went to find them on YouTube, and now I'm always watching them. I don't care how people say, oh, they can be cringe, they don't do this well. I don't care. Bring it. I'm gonna watch it, okay? Because I have to try to combat the homesickness as much as I can. On one hand, it's nice to interact with another culture and try to immerse yourself in another culture, but on the other hand, it kind of makes you also question how you're going to go forward in life, or question your future, or think about how life is back home, and whether you're ever going to still connect with your roots, especially when you come from a country like Nigeria. peradventure you come here and you feel very homesick, just start watching those in quotes cringe Nigerian movies. I promise you, they go a long way. It's just something about them that feels really comforting, and that's why I just can't knock them for being cringe or anything. Sorry, maybe because we grew up watching Nigerian movies a lot, so it just feels very familiar and it makes me feel very grounded. Another thing that I do to combat my homesickness is joining Nigerian spaces online. There's something I want to say, but I don't know if I should say it. Okay. Let me say that. Let me be messy. I'll just be messy for a little bit. I join a lot of Nigerian spaces online, especially on Twitter when they're speaking in Igbo spaces, just to have that comfort, because I just feel like it's nice to feel something that's close to my roots or close to my tribe, So I usually join Nigerian spaces online, or sometimes I go for Nigerian parties. I think that's my favorite thing here, just going for Nigerian parties. I just love it so much. So that's something I do. The thing is that with Nigerians abroad, I don't know how this is going to come off saying this. I know a lot of people say this, so this is not necessarily an unpopular opinion, okay? Don't give me the side eye. Just hear me out. I don't want to meet that annoying Nigerian behavior. If you're Nigerian, you know what I'm talking about. That annoying Nigerian behavior that some people exhibit. You just don't want to see it here. So seeing Nigerians in droves here, sometimes I actively try to avoid them on an individual level, right? A couple of them are nice, a couple of them are great. My friend Miriam, she's amazing. Her husband too, all of them are amazing. But just seeing Nigerians in groups where they're just doing annoying Nigerian things. I had an experience like that. Like I joined this volunteer group in school, and this girl, she's Nigerian. I'm not going to mention her name, but we were in a meeting. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. We're in a meeting, right? And I was using lip gloss in that meeting. Now, this meeting is an informal meeting because all of us there are students. We're either doing our PhD or we're doing our masters, right? And maybe there's like one or two undergrads there. So it's called International Students Club, right? It's just a club meeting. It's not when we're not sitting down in front of the vice chancellor or something. So I just brought out my lip gloss because we all just finished eating. Everybody was eating. They brought snacks, they brought chicken, they brought pizza. We're all eating. I was just finished eating. And the president was like, he was asking about any other business. Like when you're in a meeting and they're like, okay, do we have any other thing that we need to talk about? So this girl just rose her hand up and was like referring to me because I was supposed to be the PRO. She was like, oh, the PRO was using lip gloss during the meeting. Let's keep things formal. Just saying a bunch of bullshit. And I looked at her like, are you mentally unstable? Because I genuinely feel like only somebody who is mentally unstable will have a problem with me using lip gloss in an informal setting. I almost asked her, like, do you want, as in, should I go and buy for you? You want lip gloss too? So that Nigerian behavior that is just always looking for problems where there are no problems, or just wanting to be problematic unnecessarily, I avoid it like a plague. And I had to clear her, of course. Like I gave her a piece of my mind. I was like, see, don't do that with me. I'm not the one to mess with. I had to remove myself from all that mess because it was just ghetto, okay? I'm not sorry. Do I look like someone that wants to be getting into ghetto shit like that? Absolutely not. Something else that has helped me to settle down more as I came here is embracing my new reality, because sometimes when I get this question, I feel like it's a weird question. People are like, when are you going to come back to visit? Da, 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 da. And it's just like, you think it's that easy to just fly across continents to come, and you know how expensive that is? Do you know the time? Do you know the visa constraints you have to adhere to? Like, so when people ask me that question, sometimes I get a little bit riled up, but sometimes they just don't know better. So I can't completely fault them for it. So I've learned to embrace my new reality. And honestly, if you're coming here, you might want to do that too. So I've started making friends from other races, other ethnic groups, other countries. Like I have very good Ghanaian friends here. My Ghanaian friends are like, I love them so much. There's just something about them that is really sweet and amazing. My roommate right now is Ghanaian. My former roommate was Black American, and she was amazing as well. Like I've just made friends with people who are very nice and are very welcoming and very accepting, So that has really helped me to settle down, because at some point you have to like stop it with the nostalgia and just look forward and be like, okay, this is my new reality. How am I going to blend in? How am I going to cope? How am I going to forge forward and do all that? So if you're coming here, while you're dealing with your homesickness and all of that, you might want to also find ways to embrace your new reality, because it's going to be that way for a while, especially if you're coming as an international student and you're trying to settle down, you might just want to start thinking of ways to, basically just fit into the society. And it's not necessarily that you have to do it in a way that makes you lose your identity, because that's also something I worry about. I don't have anybody to constantly speak my language with here. And it makes me scared that, my God, what if I forget how to speak my language? That's really scary, because I have to speak English more because I'm in an English speaking country. And even if I'm around other Africans, they don't speak the language that I speak. It's really scary, but I'm still doing it in such a way that I am retaining my Nigerianness. I'm very proud to be Igbo and to be Nigerian, okay? To speak, and people ask me, where are you from? I love that. You can stretch that to a whole other pipeline that's negative, but we're not going to do that in this video. So another thing you might want to do if you're moving here, or another thing that I do personally, is to call home frequently. There's no week that goes by that I don't call my parents or call my friends. I have like at least one or two Nigerian friends that I call constantly on the phone, and we're always talking. I call Dilichi often, I call Ellie often. Ellie and Dilichi are like two of my closest friends. When I call them, and like I just know that, these are my people, these are my sisters, I just feel more at home. Sometimes I talk to my sisters as well. So I try to call home often, know how things are, and just try to stay in touch. One thing you don't want to be is out of touch. I hate when people are out of touch. I really hate that. That's why when I make some videos, I always say, okay, I know that Nigeria is the way it is, so I'm not trying to be out of touch. You have to still be very much in touch with what's going on in your home country, because even if you're not there and you feel like it doesn't impact you directly, you have other people who are just like you that are there but don't have the opportunity that you have to leave. So it's still a cause for concern, and it's still something that should prompt you to show some level of empathy. Keep being in touch, and keep in touch with your siblings, your cousins, your family, your friends, and have like 2 or 3 genuine Nigerian friends here that you can trust. At the sign of anybody being dishonest or being like crooked, cut them off. Okay, if you're international, especially in a country like America, it's in your best interest to obey all the rules, especially if you live in a red state. Don't follow people to be doing foolish things, because those people, they might not have anything to lose, right? You just came, you have everything to lose. If you lose your visa, they're sending you back home. So don't do anything that's going to jeopardize your stay or jeopardize your reputation, because in the long run, it's going to affect you. Okay. Speaking of finding Nigerian friends, you need to find close friends that you can do things with. Like, find people that want to actually explore. That's one of the things I'm doing. I don't necessarily have Nigerian friends here that are willing to, explore and travel and do all that. So I try to do that by myself. Me and my close friends that are in this country, that's Ellie and DG, they stay in other states. Each is in Texas, Ellie's in Oregon. So we can't really see as often as we want to, because the country is like really ridiculously huge. So I'm finding my own little community here and finding people to spend time with and do fun things with, because that's just a way to make memories. I'm not going to wait for somebody to be Nigerian before I establish a strong friendship or connection with them. Does that make sense? Last but not least, this one I'm not actively doing it, but I think it's something worth saying. If you go to a particular state, or if you go to a particular city or town and you see a gap for something, you can start something there. It could be like throwing parties. Like, I have these friends, their brand name is Icy Season. So they throw parties for people in St. Louis. And I think sometimes they go to other states to do it, right? So it's something that they started when they first came to the country, and things were it was kind of boring where they were. So they just started throwing parties and organizing stuff for Nigerians to do, and now non-Nigerians also join them to do the stuff. So if you find a gap for something, I think you should tap into it. Even if it means like travel vlogging, don't let anybody tell you, oh, the market is saturated, everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's doing YouTube. Start your own and do it. It might not necessarily be for you to gain clout. It might just be that you just want to document things, or you just want to, have records of your life. Okay, that's the new way we are creating records. We no longer do like hard copy pictures. Everything is online, everything is in the cloud, right? So take advantage of that and create an experience for yourself to the best of your abilities. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope I was able to. Was I as vulnerable as I wanted to be? I think I was. Yeah, I think I tried. Okay, think I tried. Let me know if you are in the diaspora. Let me know what your experience has been so far. Tell me in the comments. And if you're not in the diaspora, let me know if you have any questions, any more things you think maybe I should make a video about, in case maybe you're trying to travel and you want to know one or two things about one or two things. Okay. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will catch you guys in the next one.